Blog Talk Radio.
Everybody, this is Dr. Carol Francis. I'm a clinical psychologist and also fitness trainer and also nutrition counselor. The reason I bring those up at the beginning of the show is that today is all about optimizing your health, making your body work for you, and working with your body so that you can really feel great. And we are going to get personal today. I'm going to tell you about my own personal experience working with Coach Dave and Nancy McDowell. Coaches Dave and Nancy McDowell. Hello, Dave. Nancy, are you there?
Hello,
Carol. Hello, Carol.
There we go. And Dave and Nancy, will you please introduce your two friends and mentors that are with you today that will guide us through really a transformation of our bodies?
Nancy, why don't you introduce them?
Well, I'd like to just introduce Steve and Jenny Berg. They have been on their journey to optimal health for probably about 4 to 5 years now. They can maybe share a little bit more about that later. And they have been our coach mentors. They're awesome, and we're just so happy to have them with us today.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad to have all of you as well. And just a heads up for those that are listening, after you hear even the first 15 minutes of this program, you're going to want to have contact with these people. So here's the first contact bit of information. We'll give it out again. It's www.nancymcdowell.tsfl.com, and I will type that in the chat box in a moment. That's nancymcdowell.tsfl.com. And so this journey starts with all of us. Every human being who lives in opulent society has overexposure to processed foods and plenty of food and more than plenty of food and all sorts of different treats that inundate us throughout any given day. And we also have a lot of sit-down time, whether it's in front of TV, computers, or in cars, and we don't have a lot of activity and being in motion. And both eating real wonderful food and also healthy food and also being in movement is all about health. It's all about being in the real body that you exist in and not the one that you could be commercialized into having to have with either your over sitting down lifestyle or with eating the foods that are just all processed and wrong for your body. So today, you tuned in specifically because you want to know about weight loss. You tuned in specifically because you want to know about optimizing your life. And therefore, Nancy and Dave have a story to tell you. They're going to tell you first about where they came from. What was it like, Nancy and Dave, before you found this path toward optimal health? Nancy, how about you? Tell us what it felt like. Tell us what it felt like before you found this path.
Okay. Well, my little bit of my story is just that I have always struggled with my weight, really from when I was young, and I had tried every diet in the world, and nothing seemed to really work for me. I was on that yo-yo that so many of us are, and by the time I found someone to help me, a coach to help me with my journey to health, I was 50 pounds overweight. I had terrible back pain. My blood pressure and cholesterol had started to climb, and I just had very little energy to do the things that really meant the most to me, like spending time with my grandchildren and getting down on the ground and doing gardening. And not only that, I was depressed and about my weight and just about the way I felt. And the stress in my life, added to that, just really was killing me. So it was at that point that I just said, something's got to change. I don't know how. I feel like I've tried everything and nothing's worked. So that was how I was at. I was feeling desperate.
Nancy, maybe you don't want to reveal your age, but about what phase of life or age did you finally come to terms with, I'm just exasperated, I don't know what to do?
Well, I am 56 years old, so it was about almost 2 years ago now that I started this journey.
So I think that's really significant, and thanks for being so blunt. I'm 57, there you go. The reason I want to be so blunt with listeners is that a woman's body goes through so many transformations throughout her life, and our bodies are always playing a game with fat content and energy and, how it has to be on our body and how it shouldn't be on our body. And menopause catapults women into a really crazy weight gain process anyway. And then you have health and you have needing to work even harder to be active in order to keep the muscles that are now not toning up, toned. So I find that women in this era as baby boomers really need to face this process in a very different way than maybe our mothers did, both because there's such an emphasis on beauty and health and trimness and youth, but also because we have more difficulties maintaining it because we're not eating as much fresh food as we used to. Anyway, so I'm really glad that you're sharing this because I think many women out there in their 50s are saying exactly the same thing, don't know what to do, tried everything, it's out of control. I don't even know who or what I'm in. This body feels like an alien creature. So I think there are many that totally get what you just said. So, Dave, now bring us up on the male version of what this is like, because men often also go through menopause. You probably didn't know about that. So it was a totally different change of testosterone going on. There's a weight gain process, but you're a pretty active guy. So, Dave, tell us who you are and what it was like before you decided I've got to get myself on this path.
Well, hi, Carol. My name's Dave, and I'm 58 years old.
Thanks.
I don't mind telling you that.
Sounds like
I'm excited to be 58. This has been an incredible journey, and I feel like it's just begun. Similar to Nancy, excess weight. For me, what was critical, we both have had the back pain. Mine was originated from a cumulative stress trauma injury over years and 25 years in law enforcement in Southern California. It created difficulty exercising. But that's what really got my attention was just about a year ago now, I found out my glucose levels were climbing. Blood pressure, cholesterol, I've been taking medication for borderline numbers for some time, and wasn't able to move any of that with exercise. Despite the back pain, I would try to do the exercise, and I put up a pretty good front. Socially I could interact with people, and that depression that Nancy's talking about, it's that consistency that I think a lot of listeners will relate to. It's that day in, day out, what's your life quality like? And it was just weighing on me, literally. It was just getting tiring. And then when we discovered this really an optimal path to a healthy lifestyle, it just all began to change. But for me, with my background in law enforcement and thinking that I had control of the fitness area of my life. In fact, it was slowly, and just as you mentioned, as we get older, our metabolism start to change. And I wish I'd had what we're doing now way back in my career. We're kind of bulletproof back then. We think, no, nothing's going to hurt us, and we can just eat whatever we want to eat and burn it off with exercise. Well, that begins to change over time.
Yes. Absolutely. So now you have to tell us a little bit what was the transformation in both of your lives. And I know that there are two other people here that also have stories. But Nancy, Dave, what was transformational for your life?
Well, Carol, I think what the biggest thing was that more than just focusing on my weight, I began focusing on creating health and not just on my weight loss. I began to really look better and feel better, but there's so many other things that have changed too for me. And my lab results went down, my blood pressure and cholesterol and all that returned to normal, and my back pain is, decreased. I have a lot more energy. I don't need to take naps every day. And even more than that, I can freely get down on the floor and play with Ethan, my 4-year-old grandson. I can walk 3 miles at least and really do that gardening without getting so exhausted. So those are some of the things that have, a few of the things that have really changed for me, in this process.
So you've lost how much weight since you've gone down this path? How much weight have you lost?
I've lost 55 pounds.
Wow. That is,
yes.
That's your grandson at age 7, isn't it?
That's right.
40 pounds. He's 40 pounds now.
That is an interesting thought.
Well, that's
a lot of weight to carry around.
When people come to my office and they want to lose weight, I look at how many additional people and at what age they are holding on to, and they're carrying around. I remember carrying around my kids when they were babies, and my arms would get tired, but I would love it. But that was 20 pounds, 30 pounds. But boy, the 55 pounds. That's an additional human being, a little human being, but it's an additional human being. No wonder you're tired and exhausted and couldn't bend down and get on the floor. And now you're not that person. How does it feel to be back to you, back to the real body that you're inside? How does that feel to you?
It feels like I'm younger. I'm back, maybe in my 30s.
Nice.
Emotionally, I feel stronger. I feel more alive. Even spiritually, as I focus on my spiritual life, that my life with God, that's also, been a big part for me of my health. And so, I really feel alive in all of those areas, all emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Beautiful. And I bet your brain thinks clearer, too. Can I suggest that? Have you noticed that?
I'm sorry, I did not hear what you just said.
That your brain thinks clearer, too. Because I know that when I'm not stressed or distracted by weight or discomfort or fatigue, I'm present. I'm alive. It's like I'm thinking clearer.
Yes.
Have you noticed that? Yes.
Yes, I definitely have noticed that as well. When I sit with people and work with people as a coach, I do notice that I'm able to be more fully present to them.
Right. So you're on a program that you coach others in, and the typical weight loss on that plan is what? What is that?
It's 2 to 5 pounds a week.
Wow. So that's encouraging in and of itself as well.
Yes, it is. It allows us to, really get a great start and to be able to see that scale go down every week. It's just very, very encouraging. It helps you just want to keep going.
Okay, so Dave, I think it's your turn. What was the change in your life when you started to walk down this path with this program? What was the change?
Oh, similar to Nancy. In my case, I lost 36 pounds. My BMI, body mass index chart that most people have heard about, their doctors are always pointing to it, went from 28 to 23.
Nice.
Got rid of that weight around the midsection, which doesn't take rocket science to figure out that just might have an effect on a bad low back injury from law enforcement. Really helped me to begin to strengthen my core area. And that's reduced my back pain and need to medicate that. all of the levels, the glucose, blood pressure, cholesterol for me have just dramatically dropped. So I think one of the most amazing things to me, it sounds like a commercial. You hear this all the time about weight loss and different things, and this has been so much not like a diet to us, is the energy that you've been talking about. And you just mentioned the clearing of the brain type of thing. I was just thinking as you said that, I'm stuck with my IQ as it is, but I've been really been hooked on this whole concept. Don't laugh at me, girl. I've been hooked at this concept of increasing my emotional IQ. There's some great material out. Daniel Coleman has a book on emotional IQ, working with emotional IQ, and I immediately went to my weak sections in the book. One was empathy and listening, just improve in that area. And I don't know, life just seems, it's almost like it's brighter. I have not only more energy, but I feel more empathy for individuals, because when you have an experience like this, I mean, you just want to share it with people. And I'm your typical, well, I don't know about most guys, but I think I'm fairly typical for my body shape and whatnot. I've never done a diet per se, and I still haven't. But the medical issues start to change as you get older, and people need to check on that. And I did notice that, and this can address certain things. There's no claims to address others, but it does address some, and it just made a huge difference in me overall. My whole outlook on life has just kind of brightened up. It's been an incredible journey, and like I said before, I feel like I've just started it.
It's really wonderful that your experiences really do match the current research that is dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's and getting older and the brain function. Dr. Allman is a brain researcher and has been for 50-plus years. And he recently has come out with some more research that Alzheimer's and dementia or decaying of the cognitive process, as well as depression and anxiety, is so tied in to being in the appropriate weight, and that there's even some indication that if you are trim, you're lean, that means you have muscle, but you're lean, you're not carrying extra weight, that you're more likely to be cognitively proficient as you get older than otherwise. So here we have the whole factor of weight falling into his research, that I think that all of us that are moving into this era of life from age 40 forward need to really recognize that our bodies want to be efficient and they want to be healthy with muscle and lean. Can I just kind of ask both of you, Nancy and Dave, how have you noticed your musculature during this time? Because a lot of people that lose weight, they lose muscle more than fat or side by side. It does make for people feeling muscularly weak or less. So we've talked about the brain, but how about your muscle?
Well, that's been an amazing thing for me, too, is that I haven't felt like I've lost any muscle mass. I've maintained my strength, and I've just built on that as I've gotten back to feeling well enough to exercise. I've also noticed that the weight, often on other diets, weight would come off in one place or another, but with this program, the weight has come off in every place in my body, which has just been really different for me. And so, like I said, muscle strength has been maintained, and I've gotten stronger. I've really noticed that as I've worked on my core strength with my back. And so, yeah, it's been great. I haven't lost muscle mass, but just have continued to gain that.
And again, how important it is for us to say as we get older that we need to get stronger, as opposed to just kind of walk into the older age with that idea that we're going to atrophy. That's just not a great mentality to go. So that's wonderful that you're feeling yourself stronger and trimmer. Dave, what's your confession on muscle mass?
Well, I really had an interesting concept going into this as weight was coming off, and I just have to confess, I think this is that old macho cop male image thing. I just assumed you're supposed to have a certain amount of weight on board, you know, and I just wanted to reproportion it a little bit. So when it started going away, I kind of panicked. I go, oh my gosh, I'm going to look anemic, and I was really concerned about that. And I laugh now. No comments. I laugh now because I look back at, I'm looking at this BMI chart, which I now think makes sense. I have a friend who's a doctor who walks the talk. He's a mountain climber. He's lean and he's not a real big guy. And I've just changed my whole concept. And I'm still engaged in the process of exercising more for building muscle, but I'm learning more about this particular program, how you balance it out calorie-wise to be able to do just that. And I definitely want Steve to comment on this because he really is good at describing this better than I am as far as how the program works. But it really changed my whole concept. I was fixated on the gut because of my low back, and suddenly I thought I had a fat neck. I didn't know I had a fat neck. This weight disappeared on my neck. And like Nancy said, it was like all parts of your body, and I found out what obliques were. I go, I didn't know what obliques were. There they are. And I haven't even done any, hitting the ab roller and the weights in the gym thing. And so that whole concept began to change. And I did chuckle when you mentioned, that was a great illustration about our grandson's weight equivalent to what Nancy lost, because I love my 4-year-old grandson. But I'm a typical male. I think about the free weight plates on the bar in the gym. I picture a 25 and 35 pound plate coming off of your body, but that's not a girl thing, so sorry.
Or you can take a loaf of bread at the grocery store and say, this whole loaf of bread is the size of all that fat, 1 pound of fat. You can just do all sorts of different.
I don't like that.
I love the bread that we love. Well, it's important to kind of come to terms with the reality of it, especially like, Nancy, what you said, when it's distributed throughout your body, it creeps up because it doesn't totally change the way you look, and then suddenly it begins to lob on in ways that you really know is not the way you want your shape to be. So it's a process. Well, Steve and Jenny, you are there so quietly listening to these people whom you have mentored, and it's time to hear from you. I don't know if you want to tell about your own story as a backdrop to this and your own success, or do you want to just leap right into the information about the program? Because I'm sure everybody listening is really eager to find out about this.
Well, hi, Carol. This is Stephen. Thank you so much for having us on your program. It's really a wonderful opportunity. And I'll tell you just a little bit briefly about, my weight loss story. And I did lose 44 pounds.
Nice.
It came off rather quickly. And it really improved my cholesterol and my blood pressure, just like Dave's experience, just incredibly. And so it really changed my mindset from how I thought we were supposed to eat, just like the 3 squares, and now I eat a number of several low glycemic, low fat meals throughout the day, and it really balances blood sugar levels, and those are some of the things that have made me feel personally so much better. But I think what really makes this program unique is the incredible network of support that clients have available to them, and probably just as importantly, if not more importantly, the focus on creating health instead of simply reacting to disease through quote-unquote dieting. I would say really what we are is more of a vibrant grassroots movement of health coaches, health professionals, and a lot of clients who are really redefining the path to health and well-being. So this is a whole new approach in the weight loss industry.
Okay, so then you have a network of clients that you support, and then Dave and Nancy were among them. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. We actually didn't coach them personally on the program as much as we have coached them as coaches and helped them to help other people. And so they are supporting a lot of clients. And I've got to tell you, we're just so proud of them and so happy and fortunate to have them in a team with us. We really appreciate all of their efforts.
Well, I do think that the statistics, Steve, that I've looked into over the last 5 years indicate that programs that integrate social support actually have a much higher success rate than programs where people are just going at it alone. So it's beautiful that this program integrates that interpersonal part of people who have gone through it and then want to help this other person experience this vibrant life. So that is a great component of this program. And Jenny, hello, how are you?
I am just great. Thank you so much for inviting us onto your radio program as well. What a thrill.
Oh, well, I'm honored. So, Jenny, tell us a little bit about your journey and your process also as a mentor in this particular path.
Well, sure, I would love to. Steve and I began this journey almost 5 years ago. So part of our success is not only did we create health, but we learned the tools to maintain it, which is what everybody desires and which is why our program is so beneficial to so many. And while I did not have a huge weight loss story like Dave and Nancy and my husband Steve, I did lose 12 pounds, but what I like to tell people is, you know what, the amount of weight that somebody has to lose is not as important to me as that person's ability to keep it off. So you can imagine how easy it would be to put back on 12 pounds in almost 5 years. And so I thank our program for giving me the thin, healthy mind that has allowed me to maintain. So, and part of that is learning about the glycemic index and basic nutrition, which, you know, honestly is information that a lot of our health professionals, our personal doctors, don't really have the time to sit down and chat with us about. Mm-hmm. So do you as coaches interface with medical doctors that say, hey, I have this client, I don't know how to help this client, please help us? I mean, do you do that as well? Yeah, we absolutely do, and we actually do have quite a number of healthcare professionals who are actively involved in this program and coaching their patients.
Nice.
With implementing what we have. So it's definitely, you know, part of our why we're unique is that we're medically backed and supported. So not only do we have the component, which I feel is the most important, which kind of is a backdrop to what you were saying, Carol, with, you know, the support, we have your health coach who's, you know, with the client every step of the way. And whether that health coach happens to be a doctor or just someone, you know, regular people like those of us on your program today, we're coming alongside people and supporting and guiding them through the journey. And it's very relational on that standpoint. No one is doing it alone. And then having the medically backed eating plan is definitely a bonus. And then the health education system, which was paramount for me in my 12 pounds of maintenance. And I just wanted to touch a little bit on the discussion of muscle, because after the age of 20, we start losing a pound of muscle a year if we're not doing strength training.
Right.
And a pound of muscle can burn, you know, up to 70 calories in the day. So by the time we're 40, we've just restricted the amount of calories our body can burn by about 1,400. And so we find ourselves in middle age going, wow, I haven't changed my eating, but why am I putting on this weight? So one of the wonderful things about our program is it does provide that adequate protein, which allows us to preserve the muscle mass, and then we really encourage clients to start moving again. You know, maybe some of them haven't in a long time.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's just a wonderful component.
Can I interrupt you for just a moment? And Steve, Jenny, Dave, and Nancy, here you are. You're all mentors of other people. And I'm understanding from this program that the mentoring that you offer is actually cost-free, and that in addition there's also access to am I right, medical professionals and psychological professionals that can give you moments of tips about how to progress? I mean, maybe I don't have this quite right, but help me understand what the configuration is and the availability of the coaching.
Sure. Yeah. Dave and Nancy, you want to talk about that?
You're
I
also
can
polite.
talk about that. We have a bio network of doctors, of nurses, of nutritionists that clients have free access to. It's free to the client, and there are calls throughout the week where there are live calls that they can call into. They can ask questions, or we can also set up times with the coach, the client, and that person to interface with them. There's also a therapist that also is available to our clients and to us. So it's amazing, really, what those people can offer, not only us but our clients, in helping them with their health goals. Very exciting to be able to offer that to them.
That's wonderful. Now, then that means that people don't have to, I mean, you clearly have to, maintain connection with your medical support team that you walk into this program with, but it's like all facets of the human body, the human mind, the spirit, the psychology of it are somehow attended to, as opposed to just offering, food, supplements, or whatever the eating program is. It's like taking the whole person and saying, hey, we want to optimize all of your life that we possibly can. Let's team up. We're part of your team, and now be on your own team, and let's go for it. It's very exciting configuration that's taking place here. So, Jenny, back to you. I want to understand, there's a note here that says clients follow 6 basic steps to their healthy weight and the foundation of optimal health and a more fulfilling life. Okay, that's a statement I have in front of me. What does that mean?
Well, it means that in baby steps, creating optimal health is achievable for anyone who the first step is coming to the decision to get healthy. And that's got to obviously be paramount. And then after that point, preparing for the journey. And that happens with all of the support through the program and the health coach. The second step is then reaching the healthy weight. So in our program, it does not stop there, as opposed to the other, the diet industry. The goal is the weight loss. Well, the weight loss in our program is just the byproduct, in addition to creating so many other areas of health in our life, including sleep, health, stress reduction, brain optimization that you talked about before, and really getting healthy in the relationship with food. The third step is then transitioning to healthy eating. And so after that goal weight is achieved, there's a safe transition period. And then the fourth step is learning the habits necessary to sustain optimal health. And that actually, when we work with clients, starts on day one. And that's the focus with them is, what's between the ears, and we help them there. And then the fifth step is then optimizing health for their age. So that's different for Dave and Nancy, and it's different for someone in their 20s or 30s. And then the final step is ultimately living a longer, healthier life. And that's the goal for all of us, isn't it?
Absolutely. I was thinking about how you're talking about the different ages, and now we're in this gluttonous society where many of our children are obese. A very high percentage. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but the obesity coefficient, I believe, has gone up to 38%, if not more, of children. I don't know if your program addresses children, but one thing is clear is when parents begin to take care of their own health and have a different relationship with food and exercise, the children are on the bandwagon too, in part because they're not getting the same groceries Number two, because they are with parents that are more active and feeling better, and they're going to just kind of connect or maybe drag along. Or can I ask you, does this program at all, is it ready yet for those that are under the age of 18 or even younger?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. We do have a teen program, so the child does have to be at least 13 years of age. And in addition to that, we also have specific programs for seniors.
Nice. And you have different programs for men and for women. Is that right?
No, the men and women are the same.
Oh, no, they're
okay.
not. They're not.
Because I was reading that there was a special one for women, menopausal women. Am I right?
They have kind of modified that a little bit. So, and then they used to have special things just for men and special things for women, but that's evolved into they've kind of merged to both men and women. Unless, Dave, I'm forgetting about something.
No, I was just interjecting the reality that there is no way we are the same, but no, it is the same program.
Okay.
Well, that's for sure.
Women are clearly superior. There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh, nice recovery, Dave. Okay. Well, men and women are different, and people are different at different phases of life. So I appreciate there's an attempt to sculpture this interaction through the coaching, if not through other aspects of the program. Well, Nancy, you have taken on the process of becoming a health coach as well, like Jenny and Steve. And so what do you really enjoy about working with other people who are desperate to make a change, but they haven't a clue where to begin?
Well, it's just been a great joy just to see others one day at a time meet their weight loss goals and just get healthy. And it means that I get to watch them develop a healthy, thin mind and healthy body to do the things that they couldn't do because of their weight. I also love to be able to encourage them just to think deeply about their why, because everyone has a powerful why.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by their why?
Well, helping them get out of their head and into their hearts and just dream about what they really want for their life of health, what they want that to look like. And just often it's uncomfortable and they have to think differently than what they normally would think. But it's exciting to be able to see them dream and about what they really want, what they really want their health to look like and their life to look like as a result.
It sounds like you're saying that if they can dream it, it's going to happen. But I think you offer something so much more powerful, and that is that you want them to be able to dream it because you really feel like you have a package that's going to help them be able to get what they're dreaming. So it's not like the dream turns into frustration and discouragement. It's like the dream does have a way to come to fruition. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is accurate. And, it makes me think of that movie, The Bucket List, and how, dreaming to be able to do things and be things that we haven't been able to do for one reason or another is powerful in helping us meet our goals, our weight loss goals. So this is what I get to help people do as one piece of this.
It's really sad in my mind that we as a society are sitting here so fixated on what our bodies look like, what our weight is. It makes me really frustrated working with girls with anorexia and bulimia in my office, or even people that are overweight that have so much of life to live, and they're not living it. They're so preoccupied with the way their body looks. It does really frustrate me that we are occupied. But it's not about, in this program, it's not about, do you look sexy or are you nice and trim or are you going to be, it's more about that your body weight has to do with optimizing health if your body weight is truly attained out of a healthy process. because we can all be overly skinny and thin and be completely malnutritioned. I know that a fitness trainer once said to me, there's such a thing as skinny fat, where you really have nothing healthy on your body. Your body looks really skinny, but there's nothing there, and you can actually be fat because there's no real health underneath that. So when all four of you keep emphasizing that this is about optimizing health, and that weight loss is clearly a goal, but really it's more the byproduct of moving into really feeling healthy. So it's exciting to me on that level that it's, yes, dream about your good body, but dream about your healthy future existence is what I keep hearing each of you say. Anybody want to say something
Carol,
about that?
Yeah, Carol, this is Dave. Can I comment on that?
Yeah, please.
I just I was thinking one of our mentors had a great statement, and he starts out about this whole process we're all talking about. He says, it's not your fault. And it doesn't mean we're not responsible, but what he's putting in perspective, I mean, just to regress just slightly, you know that I do humanitarian aid work, training police and helping children become more safe in places like Darfur and Sudan.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different worldview in another culture where there isn't an obsession with food. My gosh, most of the time there isn't food. I mean, and yet you'll see kids in certain settings that are happy and playing and having hope. But it's a whole different mindset. What I hear when a mentor says to me, it's not your fault, I think of our culture that we're in, maybe even especially in the last 10 years, it is overwhelming, and it's happened slowly, almost where you don't see it, an undercurrent. The processed foods you mentioned at the beginning of the program has become such an epidemic. It takes concentrated effort to go out and know what to do to avoid the pitfalls that can be literally slowly killing us if we're not conscious of what we're putting in our mouths. And this program is so comprehensive in the fact that it is truly easily attainable. The dreaming that Nancy's talking about with the idea of the bucket list and the whole concept of dreaming about what your why is isn't a motivational line. It's our reality, and we get so excited about our clients as they get excited. We have one client that it seems like such a simple thing, but I know it's a big thing for this person. He's going to be qualifying for his black belt at a competition coming up in a few months. And he wants his body to match the event. He's got these extra pounds on. He has all the skills necessary for this competition. But he wants to get that weight off. But the weight, which is coming off just perfectly for him, but what's been exciting is just to watch his eyes light up, not just about the weight, but just his energy, his excitement. Because it's attainable, it just becomes really exciting, and the long-term aspect of it is probably the most important aspect, much more than just saying, let's lose fill-in-the-blank amount of pounds. Much different than a typical yo-yo diet kind of mentality.
Right. All right. So, Steve, Jenny, what are your reactions as you're hearing this dialogue? What are you thinking about? Who do you remember that you've mentored that has had that impression on you as well?
Well, I'll tell you about a young man whom I've been recently coaching, and he's only 22 years old. He had over 100 pounds of weight to lose, and that would be according to what he felt like and not necessarily the BMI. But it really is improving his entire quality of life. So when he talks to me, and we talk once a week, he'll call in, and the excitement that he is feeling about where his life is heading, it has just changed so dramatically, and it just lights up my life to hear about it. I really get kind of a kick out of me. He says, Steve, girls are noticing me. and so, really when we talk about it, it's not just about your physical health, but it's also about how you feel about yourself, about your emotional health, your psychological health. And when I think about 5 years ago where I was, and I had gone in for my physical examination, and my doctor used the word imperative for the first time in regard to my blood pressure and my cholesterol levels. So my primary concern was really, medically something that I really needed to change. So everybody, and this is what Nancy was talking about, everybody's why is going to be different, because we have some people who have very little, if any, weight to lose, yet they still may have high cholesterol, or they still may have high blood pressure. They may, be even still borderline type 2 diabetic, but yet there is something in this program to help everybody.
That's very exciting. So, Jenny, how about you? Who do you remember helping that was so exciting to see change?
Well, what I really love is helping somebody from the very beginning ultimately reach their goal. And I think to me that's the most fulfilling thing, to be able to pay forward with another individual. And like Dave, I probably prior to this this whole journey was lacking in empathy, and I've had just from my own journey such incredible personal growth and personal development that's enriched my life. So to share that with other people, and again, it just goes way beyond losing some LBSs, right? It's enriching their lives, and then many of those people, like Dave and Nancy, have the opportunity and decide to pay it forward as well and support other people. So it's just an entire chain reaction, one person at a time, of creating health in this country. And we have an epidemic with obesity right now. So it's just been an honor to make a difference in my lifetime in this way, and I truly believe it's my calling and my purpose. So just overall through the years, literally helping hundreds of people now achieve their greatest desires and organize their life around the things that matter most to them.
So
I mean, I could be having a rotten day.
Diseases, and that's obesity. And excuse me for calling it a disease. I'm going to just do it that right, and I'm going to classify it that way because it has so many ramifications. The Department of Health, the Department of Mental Health, the federal government has been very clear that obesity is probably the leading cause of a series of other complications that we spend a tremendous amount of money and time on in our medical professions. And in my profession as a psychologist, people are spending a lot of time not being healthy, and it makes the brain chemistry so different, it makes the body chemistry so different that depression sets in very deeply and anxiety sets in very deeply. Relationships are harmed because people don't have the energy to invest in the vigor and the love and the time that it takes to really be present with the loved ones in their life. So that the body is such an essential vessel for every experience that's going to make us feel alive and capable. And so to know that we can change the way we feel physically and the way we look physically so that we are alive again, we're back into being able to make life happen is, of course, my message to people. So I heard about this program, asked to be able to bring you all on because I wanted people to hear that there are avenues out there that they can really embrace that is going to enable them to be able to make life happen the way they want to, including the impact on their body. So I believe the four of you are exemplary in being able to say, hey, I've done it with myself. I'm so excited to be able to help other people do it with themselves as well. So any of you, Steve, Jenny, Nancy, Dave, what else would you like to say about this program? They're all quite implicated.
I guess I'll just jump in and I think a key component for me that makes what we're doing different is, when we look at our society, we're raised and we're taught even in schools to be very problem-driven oriented, aren't we? We're problem solvers, and we're not taught as much to create outcomes and focus on that vision and the why as much as we want to get rid of a problem, solve a conflict, or eliminate a fear. And when you look at that mindset in the context of, quote, dieting, it really sets everyone up for that yo-yo cycle, and there's a definite, reason behind that, a psychological reason. What we really help people do for the first time for many of them is moving from being problem-driven to outcomes-driven. And that's the kind of motivation that keeps us moving forward in whatever it is we're trying to achieve. So just because we get rid of a problem doesn't necessarily create the desired outcome that we want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, I think I'd like to just emphasize, too, the things that we teach clients that actually they carry forth for the rest of their life. And some of those things are, for me, I now eat breakfast, and I never used to eat breakfast. I feel like exercising, and so I exercise. And I've learned that getting support for my journey is, essential. And, just learning to eat those 5 or 6 meals a day for the rest of your life, not just while you're on the program, but for the rest of your life. And then also to keep track of our weight regularly. All those things are important in, paying it forward to that optimally healthy life for the rest of our lives. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate that as the long term for optimal health.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Carol, and this is Steve. I just wanted to add, too, that I think what's really extremely important is, there are a lot of effective ways to lose weight, some of them healthy, others not so much. But what our program does is it really is emphasizing losing weight in a healthy way, but like I said before, more importantly, it's that long-term way to keep it off, and I have not regained my weight that I lost, the 44 pounds, and teaching people the difference so that, just like Dave mentioned, you're not going into that yo-yo dieting mentality. So what our program does is it teaches people how to eat and maintain their weight, and probably more importantly, like I say, maintain their health.
Carol, this is Dave. Just a word about Nancy and I as coaches. I can speak for Nancy on this as well. We as a couple want people who are listening to understand that, first off, we're having a blast with this. It's a lot of fun. And we look at people contacting us. We referred in this program a few times as clients, kind of not a great term. They're actually new friends. We really enjoy building relationships and feel like we've just increased our circle of friends as people have come on board with this. And we're just regular people. We love it when people call us, email us, look at the website, just because they have some questions. It doesn't mean they're going to start this program. Like Steve said, there's a lot of ways to lose weight. But they'll quickly find out that we're more interested in building a relationship and moving towards long-term optimal health. And the key with that is you just have to be ready to start. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to have a whole lot of motivation. One of the things that's really been exciting for me personally, when we talk about the energy, I'm thinking of the energized atmosphere of just being around clients that are getting excited, getting healthy. And then this network of training that's available to us, the training events that we go to, that potential clients, coaches, doesn't matter who you are able to attend. When you're around, and I guess this goes back to actually everybody on this phone call is in the helping profession. And my area of expertise in years past was working with people who were not in the best times of their lives and emergencies and whatnot. Being around hundreds and even thousands of healthy people that are positive is a pretty cool thing. And I'm excited about hanging around this group of people. So we'd welcome anyone to join that, even if they just have some basic questions.
I just hear the enthusiasm in each of your voices, and it's just contagious. It makes me just want to jump and move forward to the next thing that's important to me. before we go on, I just want everybody to once again know how to contact these people. The website for Nancy McDowell, who's kind of the Nancy McDowell Dave team, is www.nancy, Nancy, McDowell, McDowell.tsfl.com. And also, Nancy, thank you. There's a phone number here you're giving us. That's 541-390-2273. And you can actually email her. Here it goes. N as in Nancy, M as in McDowell, CDOWELLRN, because you are an RN. Is that right, Nancy?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and that's at gmail.com. We're going to get a little bit into that in a moment. So that's NMC McDowell, that's N McDowell RN at gmail.com. That's all written out at the front of this program. Make sure to check that out. Dave's phone number for the men in this group, because men, please reach out. You know you need help. Don't be macho and singular in this way of doing things. No, you've got manly men in this program, and I know, Dave, they're there for you, and his number is 541-390-2891, and his Gmail is sgtdave47@gmail.com. sgtdave47@gmail.com. Well, as we continue, and that's that information, I do think that I would like each of you to kind of think about how has it affected your relationship with your kids, with your grandkids, and with each other, because sexiness and, you knew I was going to get into a hot topic here, sexiness, feeling attractive, feeling energetic, looking at your spouse, seeing how they're changing into even more health and beauty because of their health, handsomeness because of their health, makes a difference, because you get into that relationship based on attraction, and then what do you do after years and years of marriage? So while you're thinking about that, that's a setup question, guys. Ready? I want to tell the audience a little bit about my experience on this program. Now, I've been on this program for about 18 days, and I had collected this weight because I had to go 3 times on cortisone to maintain walking pneumonia that I somehow got 3 times in 1 year. And I swiftly put on 15 pounds each time I had to take that medication. And all the doctors say, well, you just have to take it off afterward. That weight is so stubborn. And in addition, there's that postmenopausal process. There's the transition that goes on in your body. Now, I'm a fitness trainer. I'm a nutrition counselor. I exercise every day, love doing it. And here was this incredible additional weight, and nothing was taking it off. But in the last 18, including exercise, in the last 18 days, I have gone down 2 dress sizes. I have more energy. I'm not taking those naps, Nancy. I totally get that. I have a hard time going to bed at night anyway because I'm so excited. But now, when I don't go to bed that early, I wake up in the morning feeling clear-headed and ready to go. I've been able to figure out how to maneuver this program in such a way as to support my high-intensity exercise, which is what I've added into my package as an older person, because the normal exercises just weren't cutting it, because the muscles weren't developing as much. But that's where I want to go with this product, is I've noticed the weight's coming off all sorts of different places. It's really nice, but it's in the fatty spots, and my musculature has not been compromised, at least in terms of what I can experience, and that's been better than any weight loss program I have gone on before. So that alone I'm thrilled about, because that's really important to me and where I'm coming from in terms of my background. And then finally, I love the convenience, because I'm a fast-paced, mobilizing individual, and I am just fine with how convenient this all is. So having said all that, I'm going to go back to our 4. These are couples, men and women listening, and this is about the impact on their emotional relationship with each other. And, boy, did I just put you guys on the spot. And then we're going to go into another question. And so take it away. Which couple wants to address this one first?
Well, I guess I could start. For me, I've noticed that as I've gotten more healthy, I've gotten, as I mentioned before, more active. that my family has also watched this, and that they've had that same desire to get healthy, to lose weight, to get to a place where they aren't feeling down, depressed, all of that about their weight. Helping them to develop that healthy mind, and not only that, it's been really wonderful for me, as I mentioned earlier, just to be able to have those do those things with my grandson, who's almost 4, that I had a hard time doing before. I was too tired to do. I didn't want to do it. And now I'm able to get down on the floor with him. I'm able to go to those bounce houses and play with him. I'm able to, go swimming with him and not feel, terrible about getting into a bathing suit and all of those things. So relationally with my family, that, it's been huge. And then as far as Dave and I go, for me anyway, this has been a really wonderful thing that we've been able to do together, that we've, grown passionate about together, that we've both seen results in our own lives together. And I'm looking forward to just being able to do more and more with Dave as far as our exercise goes. We have a tandem bike, and I'm very excited about getting on that with him. And both of us having together lost almost 100 pounds, you can see it could make a huge difference getting on a tandem together 100 pounds lighter. So, I'm excited about that.
Dave, Jenny, Steve.
Well, this is Steve, and I will tell you that most everybody's been confessing their ages, but a year ago last June, I turned 60, and to celebrate, we participated in something called the Wild Canyon Games, which is a really wonderful fundraiser for Young Life. And the events are rigorous. And so at age 60, it was so easy for me to participate in a grueling 3-hour geocaching where it was almost like climbing like a mountain goat and up and down hillsides. Then right after that, I did a half-mile sprint, and then the following day I did a sprint uphill and came down a quarter-mile zip line, splashed into the water, and swam to shore. But being able to participate in that event with Jenny, where prior to that I just couldn't, really has made our relationship much stronger because we're actually enjoying life together. And then this past June, we both participated in a 10K race, and so it's really made a difference. We're doing fun things, active things together, and it has really even strengthened our marriage, for that matter.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
It has, and we've been married 12 years, and I would like to mention that I am 43, so we're 18 years apart. And so for Steve, getting healthy was always, weighing heavily on my mind as I watched his health actually decline every year after we had gotten married. So I am thrilled, and I've made him promise he's going to live to be well over 100 years old.
There we go.
And he can chase me around the house now, and I don't have to let him catch me anymore.
That 100-year thing, she's going to regret that one day.
And then I'll just take just a few seconds and just share how it's impacted our whole family. Just about every member in our family has gotten healthy on the program as well. So it's really wonderful to see, our moms, our siblings, one of whom is also a health coach as well, paying it forward. So it's been the biggest gift, I think, that I can think of in our lives.
You come with such compassion about this, paying it forward, that you're so thrilled to be given back life and vigor and the promise that you're going to do your optimal best at life, and that you just want to give that to other people. And that's so exciting. It's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dave, your turn.
I just like to sit and read. I don't do a lot. Gosh, I was. Oh man, Nancy mentioned doing something that we both have a passion for together, and that's probably the highlight for me. It's been so fun. We feel like we've just started, just doing something together that's just so exciting that brings some of our, giftedness together in one place and matches so well with our passion for other things. And for me, from the energy perspective, my passion for going overseas, and I've done this type of work since the 1990s, the paying it forward part is to take the basic skills we take for granted in the States with law enforcement and giving it to officers in third world countries to teach ethics and anti-corruption and community-oriented policing, and all designed to make it safer for children who, in this case, have survived atrocities like genocide in Darfur as they settle into southern cities in South Sudan. I mean, when I dream about my why, part of that is me holding these babies and kids, thousands of them in places like remote areas of Sudan. So, it's kind of, I have a bank teller at the local bank here in Bend, Oregon. She calls me her Indiana Jones friend, and because she sees that I do things that are dangerous, and I don't really look at it that way, but traveling overseas is hectic, a lot of logistics involved, and so the energy requirement is huge. And before this program, I mean, I could do it, but I would be totally exhausted for a couple of weeks when I got back. I'm just excited about the potential for, being able to do it for many more years. So when you think of the impact on your family, on whatever it is you do in life, I mean, everybody's got a different experience with that, and that's what we mean by thinking about your why and dreaming about that, because it's just amazing how many more doors it opens up in life that your motivation begins to unfold. So I'm really excited about what's still coming. It's just started.
You're talking about the longevity of life too. There is a meme, a false belief in our society that was cultivated probably from our parents that we should be retiring in all sorts of ways at age 65. And that's just not going to be the case for majority of people, with the finance and economics changing a lot of retirement plans, as well as people not having jobs and needing to get jobs later in life or help support family members. So to know that you could go and be productive and work and not have to retire, or be energetic and have fun, that this isn't about going into the golden years and kind of resigning yourself to it. It's like being alive all the way, maximizing whatever you can. None of us can know when the end is going to come or how it's going to come, but why kind of wait for it to come and get you and escort you home in your wheelchair when you have a possibility in your hands empowering you? You are empowered by this program. You're empowered by saying to yourself, I'm going to optimize my life. I'm going to start right now, today, whatever I can do today, and then the next step and the next step and the next step. Why not move in that direction as opposed to feeling like you're going into death happily or sadly? So I really appreciate that we are all at the younger side of baby boomers' age, really. And here we're all saying, we're going to go into this next phase of life trying to make it even better than the other phase of life we just came out of. And I think that has to be the attitude we embrace toward. I need to take a moment with the listeners, though. There is a reason why we're not mentioning what the program is that they're talking about. In fact, there's lots of reasons for it, and you can discuss that in person with Nancy and Dave at a different time. But I think the primary reason we're doing is that we're trying to help you realize that this is about you reaching out and saying, okay, Nancy, Dave, help me out. Jenny, Steve, help me out. Help me understand what I can do, where I'm at, what my why is for wanting to optimize my life, and now what the how is, so that it's not so much an emphasis on the name of the program or the whys, the wherefores of the program, but really an emphasis that embracing maybe this program, maybe another program, but it's all about optimal health and walking into any stage of your life saying, you know what, it's time for me to make the best in my body so I can have the best in my life. So I thank you, Nancy, Dave, Steve, and Jenny, for joining us and trying to motivate people, and then offering a program that really helps people harness their ability to make their bodies wonderful machines that supports the rest of life. So again, Nancy, your phone number is 541-390-2273. Dave, your number is 541-390-2891. Great liaison for helping all of us, encouraging all of us to move forward. And Nancy, thank you for being my coach. I know I'm not the most reach-out person, but that's probably my lifestyle, but I know you're there, and I think that's also helpful for people that just know that someone's there. Okay, we're about to wrap up, but guess what? You all get your time, your say here of what you want to say about this program. So, Steve, let's start with you. What do you want to say about this program?
Well, you know, sometimes people in sports, they say it's a game changer, and in life, this program is a game changer, and what it has done for me personally and what it has done for so many of my friends and my family and people whom I really care about, it is a game changer.
Well said. Jenny?
Yes, absolutely. I would just love to ask your listeners, you know, if you knew you could create health, would you? And I think everybody would answer yes to that. And I just encourage everyone who's at that point to not be fearful, but to really sit down and, you know, make a list of what your life would look like if you could change it, and what things you would be doing. How would your relationships be different? How would you be feeling? And very specific activities. And then I would just encourage you then to call, get in touch with Dave and Nancy, and start your journey. And many doors will open up for yourself and all the others around you, because there is such a tremendous ripple effect when we start creating health ourselves.
Beautiful. Nancy?
Yes, I am just so thankful for the opportunity that I've had to be able to change my life and for it to be something that I can take with me to the rest of my life, not just in a short period of time and gain that weight back, but to really be able to take that forward for the rest of my life. You know, just having changed my relationship with others and having been able to do things that I haven't been able to do before. And so I, too, would just challenge people to call. There's people that have those stories of just being, struggled with their weight their whole life. And I can give them hope that can change, that can be different. So, that's just what I'd like to share with you. Call and we can talk about that.
Beautiful. And Dave?
Nancy just said it. It is a real and authentic reason for hope, and a lot of people need that today. And if it's for the specific person listening, we'd love to talk to them, but we really ask them to remember if everything's going great in their life and this is something they resonate with and they've kind of gotten this. Everyone has a loved one or a family member or a friend that's lacking in some of this. We're all imperfect people, and we're not passing on something to tell a friend that they're unhealthy. This is so much more in terms of when we talk about optimal health. It has to do with everything to do about how we make choices, and so much improvement as possible as you go through the steps. That it's got something for everybody in that respect.
That's beautiful. Well, it certainly has helped me break the barrier to this weight loss caused by medication and by age and by hormones. And I very much appreciate that this morning I reached into the back of my closet where those skinnier clothes are. We all know what that means. And I saw this dress and it's been on, and it fit, and the buttons closed, and there was no ripple or tear. I went, you've got to be kidding. And waking up in the morning and just moving out of my bed and going, wow, I'm not lagging here, which is a really wonderful feeling. Or doing the exercises and knowing that I can put out more of those push-ups or those sit-ups or whatever it is I'm doing. So I appreciate the opportunity for participating in this program as well. And I feel honored to meet Steve, Jenny, and knowing Dave and Nancy for many years. These are genuine people speaking genuine messages that can genuinely help you move on to optimizing your life. So I ask you to call them, Nancy at 541-390-2273 and Dave at 541-390-2891, or go check out the website, nancymcdowell.tsfl.com. Thank you all so much for joining us. Move into your optimal health. Have a fantastic day, remembering you really can take charge and make your life happen now. Best to you all.